Hello, I'm Engineer James Okore, the founder and director of James Okore Technical Institute, also the founder of Youth Listing. Now, today I want us to do something. We are going to look into introduction of solar energy and inverter installation. Solar energy and inverter installation. Follow me carefully. Now, I want us to look into what solar is all about, and as a professional, if you are called to come and install solar, what you should do. There are some certain steps that we should take as engineers who want to install solar professionally in somebody's house. For example, if you are called to come and handle a particular contract, what do? So today we shall be listing out the steps at which you will take anytime they call you to come and do what? To come and handle solar energy and inverter installation. Now, as a professional solar installer, let's say that an uncle called you to come and install solar for him in a particular place. The first thing you have to do is not to ask him to pay you a particular amount of money. The first thing you have to do is to carry out overall investigation, total investigation of whatever that is happening there and what you are going there to do. For example, you have to know that the place in question, are they using, maybe is it upstairs, is it downstairs? Another question you have to ask yourself is that what do they want to power with solar? For example, are they trying to power everything in the building with solar, or do they want to do load separation in a way that they can use utility supply or generator to power some part of the load while they use solar to power some part of the load? Another thing you have to ask yourself is what do they really need? How many hours do they want the solar to last? When you start asking these questions and when you are making your notes or jotting down things for yourself, then you start to realize that yes, this is the amount of money that I can charge for this or for that. The first thing to do as a solar installer is to check the place you are installing solar. For example, what kind of building is the place? For example, is it upstairs or downstairs? Another example, are you going to power every load in the building, or are there specific loads that you have to power? Then when you must have checked all these things, then you start the second one, which means that you have to first of all, look into what we call the power audit and the load audit of that building. Power audit or load audit of a building is the summation, or you say the addition of the individual electrical load power of a building to get the total load power of that building. It means that you have to check if there is fridge, you have to check how many fridges, and each of the fridge how many watts. Then if maybe they have AC, how many horsepower AC. Then each of the AC that you are checking the horsepower, you have to convert it to watts, because the total load power of that building is what will determine the size of the inverter you are going to use for that building. Why do you need to know the total power of the building? It's because you need to know in order to get the size of the inverter that you need. Then when you must have known everything that concerns the load of the building, you must have gotten the total load of the building, then you start to do what? To do your calculation in order to know the sizes of the materials you need for such installation. You have to know the size of inverter to use for such installation. Knowing the size of inverter to use, you have to use inverter that can work without heating up. For you to know the size of inverter to use, sometimes we add 25% of the total load power to the power, or we add 30%. Some people even go as far as adding 50% of the total load power to the power. Then apart from that also, you have to then check how many batteries do you need. Are you using lithium ion battery, or are you using the lead acid battery for your installation? How many batteries do you need for this installation? Another thing you have to know is what is the configuration pattern. Are you connecting the batteries in series? Are you connecting the batteries in parallel? Are you connecting the batteries in series and parallel, or parallel and series? The connection pattern of your batteries is being determined by the DC input voltage of your inverter. It means that you have to check and know the inverter size you are using and the DC input voltage of the inverter you are using. Then after that, you have to then check and know the number of solar panels you need to use. The number of solar panels you need to use will be determined by the number of batteries you are using. We said that the number of panels you want to use for your installation is being determined by the number of batteries you are using. Why? Because you have to first get the total energy of the battery, then divide it by 5. The reason why you divide by 5 is that 5 is the maximum achievable sunlight hour you can get in a day. Sometimes some people go for 3, sometimes some people go for 4, but we use 5. That's when the battery can charge. That's the maximum required hour that you can get in a day to charge the batteries. Then apart from that also, you must know the connection configuration pattern of your solar panels. And to connect your panels, you must have to determine the size of the charge controller, because you must work according to the specification of charge controller, according to the specifications of the charge controller. If the charge controller says that you shouldn't pass a particular level of voltage, then you shouldn't pass it, because on charge controller it will be written there the PV maximum voltage required and the PV maximum power required, then the rated current. So you shouldn't go above what is given to you. So apart from that also, you must also know how to determine the size of cable to be used for your installation. So many people have done some people's houses by using lower cable or cable that are not supposed to be used. So the size of the cable that you use is being determined by the connection pattern, how you connect your panels. Because if you connect your panels, you have to determine the size of cable that can carry it, and the formula for size of cable is that you have to first of all determine what we call voltage drop index. And after determining the voltage drop index, then you have to go ahead and determine the size of cable, which is rated in mm squared. Then, when you must have determined this, you have to determine what we call the size of what the DC breaker and AC breaker you are using. Then apart from that also, you must also know the voltage monitor you are using and the surge protector you are using and all the rest of them. Then you start your connection. Remember, you have to know what we call the overall connection diagram in a way that you can sketch, you can draw, you can draft, you can show your diagram of connection for everybody to know. And after doing your connection or your installation, you drop the diagram there so that anybody that comes for the maintenance of the building or for the solar maintenance, he can use your diagram and then work with it. Alright, so this is how we do it. First, when you go there, you cross check and know the load they are using. Secondly, you start taking analysis of everything that we just mentioned. Thank you very much for watching this powerful practical video. I see my humble self, Engineer James Okori. See you in our next video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to follow us on YouTube and on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, and other social media platforms. Just search for James Okori Technical Institute on YouTube, or search for Engineer James Okori on Facebook and on Instagram, on TikTok as well. Thank you very much.